All right, so I'm out with the dogs. There are the dogs. Hi, dogs. See if I can get their attention so they can be on the video. There's Alfredo. The other one is Oatmeal. Yes, our dogs are named after food. Got them when my kids were little. So the past couple days it was super sunny, and you start planning things. But I guess one of the big lessons, one time I went to Seattle, and this guy on the airplane said the secret to Seattle is to not let the rain stop you from doing things. Because it rains a lot there, and if you let the rain stop you from getting out, then you can wind up kind of in a cycle of not really getting out. And actually, we had like more days of rain in a row this winter, the early part of the winter, than I think we've ever had. I mean, this is Hilo, Hawaii. It's known as like the wettest city in the world or something like that. So even more than Seattle maybe, but even for here, we had a lot of rain, and it's the holidays, so I took a lot of like downtime anyways. It's like my December, January downtime, and past couple days, like, it's been really sunny and nice, and I got excited. But I'm letting that excitement. I'm not letting the rain stop me. I guess that's my point. Is that I'm getting out. I'm walking these dogs. I did my morning meditation and breath work this morning. And somewhere around here is Devin gathering up food for the goats. So that's where plans need to be able to be altered. Like, my thing was I was going to get up this morning. I thought maybe we'd have another sunny day and let the goats out of their little pen that we have and let them graze or browse. They call it browsing when goats do it. If you watch them do it, especially one of our goats, I can see why they call it browsing, because she'll like eat a little and then go someplace else in the yard, and then eat a little more. Oh, what's this over here? And she gets bored. The younger one doesn't do that so much. She just eats. But so they really can't be in the rain, the goats. Not very much at all. They need to stay dry, because they don't have a way of like drying themselves off or warming themselves back up. They can get hypothermia if they're in the rain too much, and therefore when it's rainy we have to gather up food and put it in their areas. They eat like grass and stuff, so somewhere Devin is getting wheelbarrows full of grass to give to the goats, and here I am walking the dogs. So we're all doing our part, but Devin has really carried me through these past 6 months when I had a struggle with my tinnitus or tinnitus being re-triggered. And at first, like, it was so difficult. I thought about sometimes when I'm having a difficult time getting on here and like talking about that, but that's a challenging thing to do, and we like to put our social media selves out there as like an edited version of our life. But that's not really my goal for this year. I really want to document the process here, and it's kind of an accountability tool for myself. They say that telling it like it is, if you want to keep it like it is, tell it like it is. That's a saying. I said when I say they say, I mean that's a little meme that some people say. If you want to keep it like it is, tell it like it is. And I think there's some truth to that, because you're perpetuating kind of a belief system and a thought pattern, and all that influences things. Our mental rehearsals athletes will tell you influence their performance. So if you're always kind of woe is me, then you're kind of rehearsing that. On the other side of that is like, if you want to keep it like it is, don't ever tell it like it is, because if we don't face things, I have people that come in for therapy all the time that tell me how helpful it's been having like a safe space where they can get things off their chest in like a life-affirming way, where you have someone to talk to, especially people with a really high intellect. It's like they need someone to talk to. But that's gonna sound arrogant, but like, I have some clients that are probably way smarter than me, but I'm able to talk to them, And so, yeah, if you want to keep it like it is, tell it like it is. But it's like, also, if you want to change things, tell it like it is. So how does that work? Well, it's like I say, it's like you have a space for yourself to tell things like they are, to process things, journaling, talking to a therapist. Those can be important things. If we have to sort of accept where we are or where we think we are, how are we going to transform what we can't accept if we're just in denial? It just doesn't quite work somehow. And I know, some people with tinnitus, they want to just think that well, how do I want to say this? I don't want to offend anybody, but some people get upset when you talk about the fact that it can get better. And I think what that is people want to be honest with themselves. They don't want to be thinking that they're lying to themselves or leading themselves on, or certainly spending a lot of money on things to help them get better that becomes a waste or whatever. But if you just keep telling yourself it can never get better, then that's probably going to be true. Our beliefs do have some impact on things. But, it could be really difficult when you're experiencing it, when it's ongoing. And like right now, I'm not experiencing my tinnitus, but it'll come and go a little bit sometimes, still. And but when it's just on, when it's just like I'm experiencing my tinnitus and it's just like, not stopping for minutes and minutes and minutes, or it was hours and days and weeks that I wasn't stopping. And you start to believe this stuff that, it's going to be forever. And I don't think that's helpful necessarily, because of the way that it impacts your nervous system. Like being depressed and thinking it's going to last forever. I've found that in my research, I found that a lot of the same things that help people with depression and the same things that help people with trauma and tinnitus, so a lot of overlap just between those three things and other things. And it has to do with the nervous system, settling the nervous system. And I talked to a number of people with tinnitus who said, I'm not a nervous person. And I don't think it quite demonstrates kind of a comprehension of what is meant by settling the nervous system. And I'm certainly no scientist, but I think that needing to settle your nervous system doesn't mean that you're a nervous person. It's a subconscious thing. That's kind of my point. And I am a psychologist, so for whatever that's worth. Kind of a pseudoscience, I guess. But yeah, I'm not real super sciencey, but I'm able to kind of figure out what works for me in terms of my health. And I do look up a lot of articles. I do a lot of research. I'm a research psychologist as much as I am a counselor. I'm documenting this journey of myself as a student, as a clinical psychology doctoral student. And so I do a lot of research. One of the ways I research is just on Google. It's amazing nowadays. If you put in PubMed, Pubmed, after whatever your question is, then Google will show you peer-reviewed articles on it. And then I take and, incorporate that. So, like, let's say I found a peer-reviewed article that shows that people who take melatonin every day for 30 days, it helps it helps them with their worry about tinnitus. The study didn't actually show that it makes the tinnitus go away, but it helps people be less worried about it. It helps the perception of it, which ultimately tinnitus is a perception. And I don't want to give the wrong idea here. I mean, because it's not just like your perception changes, like the sound can actually get quieter. It really can. And I think the truth is that for most people it gets quieter, after they initially experience it. I talked to some people who just have raging, unmaskable tinnitus for years. And, I know that's a thing. But for the majority of people, it can get quieter. But if you're stuck in a kind of a negativity and thinking that it never can, I mean, I don't want to upset people, but by saying that you're stuck in negativity, for sure. But I mean, we all can get there. I've been there with it. That's kind of why I can talk about it. Like, I just, if I'm stuck in negativity and then that alters my beliefs and then I don't, therefore I use that as an excuse to not get out and do what would help me feel the best, then, that's not helpful. Of course, sometimes what feels the best is like deep rest. Sometimes, and recreation. Sometimes just letting yourself go ahead and be depressed feels like what you need. If you can kind of be with that. But, not if it's forever. Jim Carrey, remember, if you've seen Jim Carrey a few years ago, he was talking about how depression means you need a deep rest from the character you've been playing. I mean, obviously that's like very specific to Jim Carrey, but he was saying that it was true in a sense for everyone. I mean, he has a lot of experience with playing characters, but he wasn't just talking about the characters he's been playing. He was tired of playing the Jim Carrey character, right? His personality. It's like we're born and we start getting told who we are. We go into somebody training, as Ram Dass has said. We go into somebody training. And kind of need that in this world. But then we can define ourselves by this somebody that we were taught to be, and it's really just a pattern, like a mental pattern. And we can change those patterns. We can change who we think we are, because that's not really who we are. It's just repeating thoughts. So I'm getting rained on kind of more and more as we go here, but out here with these dogs, these wonderful dogs, and it's important for them to get some time outside. And so, I hope there's something helpful in this video. It's kind of more of a rant than some of my other videos. And I imagine that'll happen as I document my process. So I have this intention of creating more content this year and just like kind of documenting what's happening. Then some of the videos will just be that, and me rambling about things. But I found Devin. Devin's over here gathering food for goats. I know she's gonna love it that I'm gonna put her on video a little bit. See, there's the wheelbarrow. Oh, and Alfredo's kind of interested, the dog. And so this is what we have to do when it's rainy, since the goats can't go out in the rain. We go and find some place that has food that the goats like to eat, and we start pruning and putting it in the wheelbarrow. And so that's what Devin's doing.
And having this sensitive plant, which has lots of minerals stored.
What's it called?
Sensitive plant.
Sensitive plant?
It's very prickly.
Does it like get emotional a lot, or a sensitive plant?
It makes every other plant emotional by
Oh.
wrapping itself around it.
Oh, because it's prickly. I see. So like I was saying, Devin's really kept me going through the past several months. She wanted to get these goats, and we got the goats, and she really has inspired me with her work. Okay, now she's going to get other plants or something like that. Here's our bottom part of our house that we're finishing out, where they pulled the concrete. So what are we doing? You're going to get more stuff? More different plants? All right, so Devin's going to get some more plants. She's got kind of a wheelbarrow full of things for the goats there, but there she goes, off to get more plants. I'm gonna let the dogs get put away, I think. Let them go in for a little bit. That way they can drink water, which they like to do after I've walked them. And then maybe they can go out one more time after having drinking water. And then we'll go see the goats. We'll go see the goats. Okay, doggies. You can go in your room. So there they go. Oh, what do you know? Their water is actually kind of dry. So we need to fill that. Speaking about water, I actually changed the water that I drink. That's one of the things that I did to help myself. I did that the last time that I had some of this, and I started to notice a difference. I actually wasn't even expecting it to. I mean, I wasn't, I don't know. I got this water machine to help support overall health. And what do you know? It helped with my tinnitus. And you know, I've talked to people that did like everything they could for months and months to support their health, and it didn't help with their tinnitus. Yeah, and then they found the thing, and it goes for the thing that helped, you know. And the same thing goes for like people with Lyme disease. They'd done stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff, then they found the thing that helped. But to me, it's like you don't know that all those things that you did for yourself didn't combine to help. I mean, doing things for your overall health definitely doesn't hurt you. It definitely doesn't hurt you. So, but I know it can be frustrating when you're working with a symptom and you're doing all kinds of things for physical fitness, and then nothing really seems to help. But yeah, I just notice all the little things that make a difference and try to sort of like expand on those things. Um, and so, and I hope that's, I hope that's helpful. I've got to get the water with two hands here. Got to get the water for the dogs with two hands. And look how cute they are. Just hanging out there. And she's going to get some water. I'm gonna fill up their food too. Got a big day here of going to do mental health counseling. And so be gone. So gotta have their food there. All right, let's go see the goats. We probably should get a second wheelbarrow so that we can both be filling up things for the goats. But yeah, I think things will all come together. It'll make sense. How everything that we're doing is for our intention of like supporting our wellness, our family, our kids' wellness, our own wellness, and having goats is a part of that. I mean, for one thing, being outside. Like I said, Devin has done a lot with the goats. She and her son built most of this little pen, this area that we have them in right now. And then eventually we'll fence in like this whole back acre so they can roam around a little bit more. But we got these goats from somebody who really, has been caring for goats for 15 years. And she said this would be a fine way to do it to get started. So what we do when it's sunny is, we bring them out here. We kind of hang out with them while we're doing yard work and stuff, and they will eat the stuff. But they kind of just tend to hang out when it's raining under the tarp there. And so we have to bring food and throw it in here because they've already eaten all the stuff that they like that grows inside of here. And over here is another tarp that I have set up. I just set it up yesterday so that we can hang out here outside and do stuff even when it's raining. So that's kind of the deal. Cool, here comes Devin with the wheelbarrow, and we can see if the goats will come out and eat some of what she got them. And then I'm off to the bank to make the loan payment. And so, yeah, pretty much a steady rain here all day. Well, I don't know about all day, but all morning. So here's the wheelbarrow full of stuff. Can we start throwing it in, Devin?
Yeah. Trying to do it so that it's propped up on the other plant.
Right. The goats like to eat stuff like some of the they like to eat it if it's like propped up on the plants. Devin was saying like some of the trees they'll reach up and eat them. Like say like this tree here, they reach up and eat it. But if I pull it down and throw it on the ground, they won't eat it. So when we throw it in, we kind of try to prop it up. But it doesn't look like they're coming out to start eating. They'd rather stay out of the rain for now. But the,
We had three of those branches over and they were just out eating that a little bit ago. But it started raining harder.
oh, okay. They were just eating some branches a little bit ago, but it started raining harder. Got it. So, yeah, that's. I'm gonna end the video here, but more to come, and hope to see you on the next video.